it's interesting when you get into the background of all these players. I was just reading her parents were both college level athletes, basketball father, mother track and field. And then you read a line like, parents gave up their professional careers, not their sports careers, their professional careers, to dedicate themselves to Coco's development. Father became a coach, mother homeschooled her. It's just this wildness to American sports of like, okay, family, we're dedicating our entire decade to little Coco here.
I don't love it, to be honest. And I think it's created a pretty insane sports culture here in America that is not healthy for 99.99% of parents and children, and probably coaches and, you know, junior player development types. I don't know. This might be a weird way to talk about this, but I grew up the child of classical musicians. My parents were both in the symphony, the Montreal Symphony when I was a kid, and then later the Atlanta Symphony as I was a teenager. And, you know, the classical music world is really big on prodigies. So is the sports world. And what's interesting about it is that for everybody who could be a prodigy, there's bloody and broken and dispirited legions of people who are kind of chewed up by that. And I don't understand why we need people to be good really young, because we treat it like it's, you know, a Mozart situation where, you know, this guy's going to be composing at age, you know, 5, 6, 7, which means he's going to go on to be one of the greatest composers of all time. Or this person is just going to get 5 of their slams earlier as opposed to later. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't love the prodigy narrative because of not only the sort of lack of journey. You know, she's been basically optimized to be a great tennis player by her parents' entire, you know, body of choices, but also because a lot of times they don't last and they don't necessarily have things to say or contribute. You know, my parents would sort of famously talk about how, you know, Lang Lang could technically perform a piece on the piano, but could he bring the same soul to it that an older person who'd lived more of life and maybe had some more heartbreak and had more ups and downs bring? Not necessarily. So I'm not sure the comparison really stands, but for me, like, it is in spite of the pressure. It is in spite of the expectations. It is in spite of the single-minded focus on Coco's optimization that she emerged a US Open champion, to me, not because of it.
Yes.
And maybe that's a little counterintuitive, but one thing that I really, really strongly sort of push back on is this idea that we should be having professional athletes start earlier. I don't think it's good for the kid. I don't think it's good for the families. And I think for every Coco who seems to be able to handle it, there are legions of people who are irreparably damaged by it. And I don't know what the sort of, at what cost, you know, for what, so that they can win their trophy earlier. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.